Hello, everyone. This is English only. 영어만. The best type of meat for non-vegetarians. Part number 1. What is the best type of meat for non-vegetarians? 비채식주의자를 위한 최고의 육류 정류에 관하여 제1부 Best type of meat for non-vegetarians. 비채식주의자를 위한 최고의 육류는 무엇일까요? What is the best type of meat for non-vegetarians? Jesus is the greatest master designer of our bodies. Jesus created our bodies to eat the good health foods that will make our bodies strong and healthy. A long time ago, the Bible says that people live up to 900 years old by eating a special diet plan, by following a special diet plan, by eating a special diet, by following a special diet plan that was similar to a vegan diet plan. Please note, the original diet plan that Jesus gave to our first parents was not a vegan diet plan. It was like a vegan diet plan, but it was not a vegan diet plan. It was not a vegetarian diet plan. It was not a diet plan of eating animals. It was God's plan that the animals should be our friends. It was God's original plan that the animals should not die. It was God's original plan that no animal should die. It was the best diet plan that was higher than all the diet plans we have in the world today, in this world today. According to Jesus, according to the good book, according to Genesis 6 verse 17, Genesis 9 verse 4, Leviticus 3 verse 17, Leviticus 17 verse 11, and from verse 10 to 14, 1 Peter 3 verse 20, 2 Peter 2 verse 5, and Acts 15 verse 20 and 29, and Acts 21 verse 25, the Bible teaches the following messages. The destructive flood had destroyed all the vegetarian food. The destructive flood had destroyed the best type of health foods that can give us the best type of health. Why? After the destructive flood, many people did not live up to 900 years old. In other words, at this time, many people did not live long. Why? The people were not eating the best type of health foods after the flood. All the nations of this world are descendants of Noah. Noah and the people back then did not have no health food to eat. At that time, Jesus gave a kosher meat diet to Noah and to the people. It was a temporary meat diet plan. All these people were not Jewish. Noah was not Jewish. But God gave him a kosher meat diet plan. All these people were the first parents of the different types of nations. All the people came from the first parents of the different types of nations we have in the world today. So Jesus had told Noah to eat kosher meat. Why? Jesus told them not to eat the animals that were scavengers. These scavengers' animals were not made for food. For example, the magpie, the crow, those animals, God made them, Jesus made them to clean the earth naturally. So if there's a dead animal, you don't need to pick up the phone and say, hello, come over here and clean. In these animals, they have instinct, and they will come and clean, and they are cleaning animals. They're scavengers. Their immune system is different from our immune system. Their immune system can fight, it's immune to the disease. Those bacteria cannot attack their immune system. They have very good immune system to withstand different types of bacteria and viruses. These scavengers animals were not made for food. They were like garbage truck cleaning animals. Only the clean animals could be used for food. According to Jesus, according to the good book, according to Genesis 6 verse 17, 9 verse 4, Leviticus 3 verse 17, Leviticus 17 verse 11, 10 to 14, 1 Peter 3 verse 20, 2 Peter 2 verse 5, Acts 15 verse 20, 29, Acts 21 verse 29. Jesus told the people back then how to use the clean animals as food. And I think there are some Bible verses that talks about how they should use the clean animals as food. So these Bible verses here, this is Leviticus 7 verse 24. It says here, this is Jesus, this is the instruction that Noah had long time ago before there was a Jew. This is Leviticus 7 verse 24. It was the same instruction that Jesus gave to Moses to give to the people, because it was Moses that wrote the book of Genesis, those 5 books of the Bible. So we need to understand this. It says, Leviticus 7 verse 24, and the fat of an animal that dies naturally, and the fat of what is torn by wild beasts may be used in any way, but you shall by no means eat it. So here Jesus is telling us not to eat the fat, animal fat. The disease is in the animal fat. Another one, this is Leviticus 17 verse 12. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, no one among you, no one, not even the foreigner who were among them, they were allowed to eat the fat animal and eat blood. They were not allowed. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, no one among you shall eat blood, nor any stranger who dwells among you eat blood. Today, the idea why whenever a doctor take your blood, the doctor have to sterilize that needle, injection needle. Why? The idea came from the Bible. It came from here. That's where they got the idea why doctors have to wear gloves and wear gowns and hospital gowns and different types of hospital clothing and surgical clothing, because the idea came from here. They're following this principle. The principle came from here. If you study the story about that, his name was, what was his name again? Listerine. Joseph Listerine was a Bible Christian. And he was the first one who got the idea from the Bible, and he started, and from that, that's why the hospital all over the world, they try to encourage people to wear masks and wear gloves. The idea came from this verse. That's where Joseph Lister got it. And Joseph Lister invented the mouthwash we call Listerine. That's where mouthwash came from, because the idea came from the Bible. It said, therefore I said to the children of Israel, no one, not even the foreigner means the stranger. And this is where Joseph Lister got the idea. And that's why the hospital around the world are following the Bible principles when it comes to withdrawing blood. They have to sterilize those equipment. They have to wash and wash and wash. They have to keep the surgical room clean and the hospital clean, because the idea came from here. It says, this is Leviticus 17 verse 11, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make atonement for your souls. Not only that, long time ago, before Joseph Lister before he found the idea, this idea of wearing hospital gown, hospital clothing, and have to sterilize equipment, and has to have a clean hospital. Before Joseph Lister, the doctors did not practice hygienic principles. Whenever the doctor did a surgery on a person, or operate on a person, the doctor doesn't practice the real health principle of hygiene. The doctor spread disease from one person, carried it because he didn't make sure the blood was removed from his hand. So after he did surgery on one person, the doctor went and spread the disease to other people. So many people were dying in so many hospitals. Many people were dying. The hospital a long time ago was like a death house. So many people were dying, until Joseph Lister, they recognized, the people saw that people were surviving in Joseph Lister Hospital, in his clinic. They were surviving, people were surviving, but the other hospital, they didn't practice this principle of making sure that these equipment were sterilized, purified, and people were dying, until they recognized, they saw that Joseph Lister Clinic Hospital, where so many people were surviving, but all the other hospitals, people were dying. It was a death house long time ago. But the idea came from here. That's why Jesus, in his great love and mercy, has given us this special health message. When Jesus says, don't eat blood, because the disease is in the blood. The blood is like a vehicle to carry, to transport disease. And if an animal has disease and you're eating that animal, that's not good. And usually the disease is in the fat of that animal. It says, for the life of the flesh is in the blood. I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that makes atonement for the soul. And this is Leviticus 3 verse 17. This shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations in all your dwellings. You shall eat neither fat nor blood. So here Jesus is repeating, and now many doctors, many hospital health professionals, they're recognizing that Many of our disease, but health problems that we have it because we're eating bad fat, and many people are eating meat that has blood. Many of these meat that people are eating, there's blood in it. They cannot see it, but it's there because they don't follow God's method to learn how to remove the blood. So the best meat for non-vegetarian, I don't eat meat, but if I were like you, the best meat is to eat the meat that is kosher, that you have to make sure that there's no blood in it and no fat. It says, you shall eat neither fat nor blood. And this is Leviticus 9, verse 4. But you shall not eat flesh with its life. That is its blood. Okay, so let me get back to that part I was talking about. Now, I said here, only the clean animals could be used for food. I said, according to Jesus, according to the good book, according to Genesis 6, verse 17, I think we have read that before. Jesus told the people back then how to use the clean animals as food. In other words, Jesus told the people how to eat these clean animals. Jesus told them that they should not eat the blood nor the fat of these animals. Why? Many people have different types of chronic diseases and different types of health problems. Why? Because you're eating those meat, eating the bad fat, bad animal fat. The nut fat, the vegetarian fat from beans, nuts, and seed, that's the good fat. But the bad fat comes from animal fat. So it says here many have different type of chronic disease and different type of sickness and health problems. Why? It's because these people are not eating, they're not eating the kosher meat. They're not following God's health method of eating the kosher meat. Today many people are eating the meat that has blood and animal fat. Jesus told the people back then not to eat these types of meat. Why? The different types of sickness and disease we have in the world today in the world, are found in the blood. The disease is found in the blood. Heart disease is found in the blood. Cancer, different types of disease. It's found in the blood and in the animal fat of these type of meat. According to Psalms 105, verse 37. You can read it in your free time. Jesus taught that there were no sick people among the Israelites, among the Jewish people at that time. Why? No sick people. Why? Because the Jewish people, they were eating kosher meat long time ago. Not even one sick people among the Jewish people back then. Why? Because it was because these people were eating the kosher meat. Let us read the precious words of Jesus. In other words, Jesus was saying there were no sick people in the among the Israelites, among the Jewish people at that time. Why? It's because they were following the same diet plan that Jesus gave to Noah to eat kosher meat, kosher foods. How did Moses know about that? Moses wrote about it because Moses got the idea from Noah. So Jesus gave to Noah to eat meat, kosher meat foods. These people were not eating the meat that has blood and animal fat. At that time, they were not eating the scavengers' animals. Too. Those scavengers' animals not made for food. We should eat animals that God made for food. But in the original plan, God did not make animals for food. It was just a temporary provision until people go back to the original plan. So at that time, they were eating healthy meat from healthy animals, clean animals. They were eating the meat without blood and animal fat. This is the same type of meat that Orthodox Jews eat today in Israel. This is one of the best ways to eat meat. Koreans eat samgyetang chicken meat. This is a disclaimer. The samgyetang meat preparation method is similar to the kosher preparation method, but they're not the same, just a little bit similar. But the samgyetang meat preparation, kosher meat preparation are not the same. Their preparation methods are different. Many meat preparation today has blood and animal fat in it, bad animal fat in their meat preparation. According to the disciples of Jesus, according to the good book, according to the first Corinthians 10, according to Acts 15 verse 20 and 29, Acts 21 verse 25, the testimony of Jesus taught that the non-Jewish Christian did not eat the meat with blood. You can read it in the New Testament, where the early church, when they had a problem, when in Acts 15, the problem was about circumcision. Should we keep the law of Moses concerning circumcision? And they came together and they came to agreement that the Gentile Christian, they should keep the health law. They should follow the kosher meat diet, where they should not eat blood. And I believe animal fat too, although they didn't mention it, but I think they were talking about the same principle that God gave to Noah, God gave to Moses long time ago. The testimony of Jesus taught that the non-Jewish Christian did not eat the meat with blood long time ago. This was the same health message that Jesus gave to Noah and to our forefathers, to eat the meat of healthy animals. At that time, Jesus commanded them not to eat the meat with blood or animal fat, according to one of Korean government websites. You can check out this website. This is an ancient Korean ancestor story that talked about how the Son of God gave a vegetarian diet of divine mugwort and garlic to Korean ancestors to eat. This is in the Korean ancestor story. They had a vegetarian diet. How can that be? How did they know? They had a Korean diet, and they had in their story, they had a person they called the Son of God. How can that be? They're not Christians. The Koreans are not Christians, but in their story and the Korean history they have a longer history than American history. Korean history is longer than American history. American history is short, but Korean history is longer. They have a long history that goes way back. And here they're telling you that in their history, their first ancestor of the Korean ancestors, they had a vegetarian diet. How can that be? They call it the diet of divine mugwort and garlic. Korean ancestors garlic to Korean ancestors to eat. Even though many Korean people believe this ancestor story to be a myth, now they think it's a myth. But I believe this myth story has a mixture of truth that was mixed with error and misconceptions of the real truth. But the good news is that Jesus has given us the Bible. The Bible has the original truth. Bible is the original sources of truth. The Bible has the original truth about everything. So maybe in this Korean story, ancestor story, they have truth mixed with error. But in the Bible, we have the original truth. And then that's why in the original truth of the Bible, the original diet for man was like a vegetarian diet. Now, that was why Jesus has given us the best type of meat that we should eat. Let us read the precious word of Jesus. Genesis 1, verse 29, that talks about the original diet for God's people. Long time ago, Adam and Eve were not Jewish, and God gave to our first parents, Adam and Eve, the original diet. This was the best diet. But after the flood, I think the flood caused something to happen to this world. So the food that we're eating is not, it's a different type of food compared to the food that Adam and Eve ate. It was packed with nutrition. And before the flood, there was no sick people, there were no doctors. People lived long, up to 900 years old. So according to Genesis 1, verse 29, Jesus said to our first parents, it says, see or behold. And God said, behold, behold, see, I have given you every herb that yields seed. What is every herb that yields seed? That's talking about a different type of herb. We have green herb. We have root herbs. We have herb for medicine. You know, we have root herbs, or we call them root vegetables. That's what herb means. Root vegetables. We have green vegetables. We have leafy green vegetables. We have different types. But in another way of saying the root vegetable, we can say these are like root herbs. So this says, I've given you every herb, and every herb that you'll see is talking about the main meal for every human, for man. It's talking about the grains. This was a special grain. This is a main meal for humans. Every herb. And these are like grass plant. The rice looks like a grass plant. The wheat looks like a grass plant. The barley looks like a grass plant. Not only that, you know, the buckwheat looks like a grass plant. And the different types of wheat, it looks like a grass plant. So this grass plant we call every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth. And you know the rice itself is a seed that yields seed. And every tree whose fruit yields seed. And this is talking about a different type of fruit. We have non-sweet fruit. We have nut fruit. We have coconut fruit. Coconut is a fruit. We have the veggie fruits. We have the neutral fruits, like tomato. Tomato is a neutral fruit. And we have cucumbers. They are like neutral fruits. And then we have pumpkin and watermelon. We have different types of fruit. We have seed fruits and different types of fruits. So when it says, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, so you it shall be for food. And I think I read this one already. So this is, let's see if I can find this one about the grain. Okay, here, this one. Let me try to expand a little about the Genesis 1, verse 29. It says, according to Genesis 1, verse 29, according to the first book of the Bible, the first chapter of the Bible, Jesus gave us the healthy grains that we can make healthy bread, healthy foods. Jesus gave our first parents the original diet plan, the best diet plan. This is the original diet plan that is called Jesus' best New Start diet plan. N means nutrition. Genesis 1, verse 29. E means exercise. Genesis chapter 2. W means water. Genesis chapter 1. S means sunlight. You get free vitamin D. This is the best vitamin D, which is better than the vitamin D in the drugstore. The vitamin D in the drugstore are processed vitamin D. But this is the real one that comes from the sunlight. And T means temperance, which is the most difficult one. This one is talking about we need to be balanced. You know, for example, many people, you see garlic is a natural blood thinner. So if we eat too many pegs of garlic, it's going to make your blood too thin, and then it can cause a blood clot, a bad blood clot in your brain, and you're going to get stroke. That's why we need balance. So eating a little garlic now and then, it's good. But eating too many garlic it makes your blood too thin, and then it's going to cause a blood clot, going to cause stroke. So if the clot is in your brain, it can kill you. That's why we need temperance, the health principle of Jesus' best diet plan of temperance. That's why Paul says in 1 Corinthians 9, verse 27, I beat my body, meaning he disciplined his body. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that Paul is beating his body. It says, this original diet plan is called Jesus' best New Start diet plan. This original diet plan has grain herbs, herb for medicine, herb for foods, the green herb, the vegetables, the root vegetables, the neutral vegetables, and the green leafy vegetables. It has the fruits. That is every tree whose fruit you'll see. In other words, this expression is talking about the fruit trees that produce different types of seeds. For example, they are nut fruits, neutral fruits, sweet fruit, non-sweet fruit, seeds, and the beans. Those are fruits, different types of fruit. These foods are the best meat of all the nutritious food. They were considered meat. This is the good type of meat, not the animal meat. This is the real best health meat. These foods are what we call, they're the nutritious. They're the meat of all other foods. Thank you for listening.